Café and Networking Podcast promotes business owners and business experts throughout the world. I'm Tom Reaoch, known as the King of Networking, podcasting, connecting people from my studio in Brazil. And today we talk with Simone Knego, and she's joining us from Sarasota, Florida. Simone Knego is the author of The Extraordinary UnOrdinary You. She's a keynote speaker. She climbed Mount Kilimanjaro, adopted 3 of her 6 kids, and helps women change the way they see themselves. So Simone, you say change the way you see yourself and the world around you will change. What do you mean by this?
So I think that, first of all, we focus so much on what everyone else is doing on social media, what we see on the internet, what we see on TV. And we have a hard time taking a look at ourselves and saying, wait, you're making a difference in the world. You matter. You're more than enough. And I think so much of what we do is not focused on making ourselves our best selves, but looking at everybody else and trying to compare ourselves to them.
Use them as the model.
Yeah. And we should be the model for ourselves. We should look in the mirror every morning and say, hey, I'm amazing. Like, I do really good things in the world. And yes, can I do better? How can I do better? But it starts with changing the way we see ourselves, because I think a lot of times we don't look at ourselves and say, oh, you make a difference in the world. I mean, how many people wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, I'm amazing, I'm great? Or they look in the mirror and they say, hey, I don't like what I see. I would say more people would say, I don't like what I see. And I think we need to change that, because in order for other people you have to believe in yourself before other people are going to believe in you. You have to feel confident in what you're doing so that you can help other people feel confident in themselves.
And many people see that in a sort of strange way. All right. And obviously, I agree with you. We need to be proactive. But most people sit back and watch and want to be followers more than leaders. And what you just said are the signs for leadership. And leadership starts in your own head.
Yeah, leadership is everything you do is leadership, whether it's interacting with your children, interacting with your friends, interacting with strangers. It's all about leadership. And you have a choice every morning when you wake up. You can choose to be miserable, or you can choose to be happy. You can choose to, yes, be a follower and just sit back and watch, or you can choose to be a leader. And everybody can. It's not just, oh, because I took this leadership course, now I'm a leader. It is because I believe in myself, and I know that I can make a difference. Even if I can impact one person in this world, then I've changed the world.
Well, you said 2 fantastic, many things, but for me, it's exactly that, because I personally believe we only get one day at a time. And many people say, well, do it tomorrow, next week, or some other day. But we don't get tomorrow today. What we have is here and now. And we get the 24 hours of today, second by second. And so really we have to focus on what are those first seconds when we put our feet on the floor, look into that mirror of what we're going to do. It's not saying that there's no tomorrow, but there's no guarantee that there will be tomorrow.
Absolutely. And when we talk about things in our family, we're always like, it's now or never. And so we're big believers in now. I know that's not like a real statement, but it is. But that's the encouragement to think about the now, and that you have a choice right now. Like, what do you want to do? And it's not about what does anybody else want for you. It's what do you want? Right. And I think a lot of times we forget to ask ourselves that question, which I think is one of the most important questions to ask when we start our day. What do we want our day to look like? What do we want our life to look like? And not look at someone else's life and say, oh, I want my life to look like that. No, what do you want, specifically for you? Who cares what they're doing?
Right. Well, when I was a kid, I remember my mother always saying, ask and ye shall receive. So if we don't ask, if you don't ask for anything, you may or may not get it.
Yeah. I have a similar saying, and I say the worst that someone can say is no. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So ask. And let me tell you, it works really well. It's amazing how much people do want to help.
Right.
Or, but I think we're so stuck in fear sometimes that we can't break through that to say, I think they will say yes. Just go ask the question.
My commercial background showed me that. And I once learned somewhere that you will hear 16 no's before you hear your first yes. And so I said, we got to go out and get all these no's first, get them out of the way, and work yourself to a yes. Because in failure, too, we do learn from failure, all right? And we do learn from the no. And then if we go back and again, maybe tomorrow morning, if we get up and we say, why did we get that no? We'll make tomorrow better.
Absolutely. And failure is just a bump in the road. So every time you hear a no, it just builds you up more for the yes that's coming. And that's absolutely how I look at it every day. That, yeah, and there's days that are really hard. I mean, we all have struggles, but understanding that if you just sit back and wait, it's never going to happen. You got to kind of jump in and say, I'm just going to do my best.
Well, back to your book, The Extraordinary UnOrdinary You. We are all each unordinary, but in the sense of being unique.
Yeah. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us makes a difference in the world. We just need to take a step back and look at that. And that's exactly why I picked the title, The Extraordinary UnOrdinary You, because people are like, wait, are those two different words? I'm like, no, they mean the same thing. Yeah. We're all extraordinary. We're all unordinary. So we're all unique. Like we all make a difference in the world.
Well, I also mentioned you say you help women change the way they see themselves, but that's men as well, right?
It is men as well. And, you know, when you're writing a book, you have to really kind of focus on a smaller market. Not that women are a smaller market, trust me. But, you know,
I wouldn't say that. I would never say that.
But men as well. I mean, I see it with my husband. I see it with my children. You know, when they have one thing happen, it's all of a sudden they're like, well, I don't know if I can ever go back and do that again. And my answer is yes, you can, because you know, again, you can't worry about what anybody else is thinking. If you are doing good things in the world, if you are being kind, compassionate, you don't have to worry about what anybody else is thinking. Right. It's, again, how you see yourself.
And how you want others to see yourself as a model.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't want to go out in the world and, you know, be a mean person. I know how I want to interact. I know that I want to take the time to be compassionate and do it that way. And so, but the goal is, yeah, especially for my children, to be a model for them.
Right.
And I see that happening. I see them, the way they interact with other people. It's exactly what I hope for. Like they really are going out there and being these amazing people. And I'm like, wow, this really works. It happens.
Well, it does, but actually, it's not done by itself. We need to dedicate the energy, right? We need to look in that mirror, and many times we just might have to bring all our kids to look in the mirror with us.
Yeah. Or they need to watch us look in the mirror. So I had, and I'll tell a really quick story where my daughter, I was getting ready for an event, looking in the mirror and really frustrated. I had gained weight and I was, you know, talking myself down. I was like, oh, I can't believe you gained weight again, mumbling under my breath. And my daughter, who was 13 at the time, came up to me and said, you need to stop. First of all, you're beautiful. Second of all, you're giving me a complex. How can you expect me to love my body when you don't even like your own? And that was an eye-opening moment of, she is so right. Like, we have to love ourselves, whatever we have. Like, this is who we are. Love ourselves. And so that was a really good, sometimes our kids give us the real honest, like.
I agree with you. We need to listen to the kids. I'm a grandparent, so we need to listen to the grandchildren. They can teach us so much.
Absolutely. I mean, it makes such a difference in our lives.
Well, Simone, how can our listeners find you?
So LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, my website, SimoneKnego.com. And you can find my book on Amazon, The Extraordinary UnOrdinary You. And if you read it, I would love to hear from you. Reach out to me. Give me feedback. Again, the more I hear, the more I know, the more I learn, the better I can be.
Very good. Thanks for being here with us.
Thanks so much for having me here today.
And for our audience, you can find more information at Simone Knego, and its first name is Simone, and the last name is Knego on LinkedIn, SimoneKnego.com, and the book, The Extraordinary UnOrdinary You, on Amazon. Café and Networking is brought to us by Focus MI Market Intelligence, an agricultural market research specialist in Brazil. More information on their site, focusmi.com. Thanks for listening. Until the next time here at Café and Networking Podcast.